What's going on, my babies? Welcome back to another episode of The Spiritual Word. As always, I apologize for any noises in the background in advance and anything of that nature. And also, before I start these, I like to start these off with a disclaimer by stating that these are for entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research to come to your own conclusions, to have your own answers, to make your own decisions. And I believe in your ability to do so and to be your own person. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in and tapping in, my babies. If you're interested in psychology, science, spirituality, self-help, and philosophy, those are my main 5 go-to topics. So if those are things that you're interested in, then I recommend subbing or following whatever platform you're finding me on. I have an audio version and a video version. One's on YouTube, the rest are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can find audio podcasts. And they're both named The Spiritual Word. I'm your host, Jack A. Upload Mondays and Fridays at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. At least for right now. We'll see. But anyways, so in today's episode, I just want to jump right into this shit. So in today's episode, I want to talk about what manifestation or what the law of detachment can do for your power of manifestation. And if you're trying to manifest, I think that this is a very powerful tip that I can give. So the law of detachment literally just means you detaching from this idea. So for example, let's say you get complimented on something that you really don't like about yourself, or something that you don't mind. I don't want to say that you don't like. Something that you don't mind, something that you don't really care about. And you see that that happens to you a lot. And it happens to you repetitively all the time with different people, different places. Something just fell. I'm going to take that as confirmation because why did that fall? But anyways, so that's what the law of detachment is. The law of detachment is you kind of not really caring about this thing. It's kind of like you shrugging at this particular thing. Although this particular thing could be something that's really important to everybody else. Like, for example, if you're somebody who gets complimented a lot on your hair, or somebody compliments you a lot about your nails, or your eyebrows, or your eyes, or your lips, or your legs, or like something that you don't really care about. And everyone else deems it to be important because to them, those things are important, right? Like, for example, if you're somebody who doesn't care about looks, but people tell you all the time that, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so handsome, you're so gorgeous, like, as a person. No matter, no gender specific, you know? And you're like, well, I don't really care about that because that's not something that's important to me. That's what the law of detachment is, essentially. Just to, like, break that down for you in your brain. And so how to use this in your actual practices, or if, like, you're trying to manifest something, how do you use this as a way to attract things? Because I think in the idea of it, it doesn't make a lot of sense because of the fact that you're trying to detach from something that you're so attached to. And so it can be really hard if you're somebody who gets really into things. Like, you stick to one thing and you really enjoy that thing, and it's really hard for you to, like, not like that thing or to not care about that thing. And the law of detachment is just being detached from any particular outcome of this thing. It could be good, it could be bad. Just not having any expectations, pretty much. And the law of detachment, I think it's best used as a form of, like, whatever. Like a shrug. And obviously the things that you're going to shrug off, they might be really important to you. So it might be really hard for you to shrug them off. And for some things, it might not be beneficial to shrug off. So I think that also depends on where you are in your personal state. Like, where you are depending on that manifestation, or where you are in life itself, or, like, if whatever you're trying to manifest is not something that only has to do with this particular, like, one subject or one thing, just because everything is very complex. But don't overthink it. And this can be used in any form, although it's going to be different to your situation and your circumstance, which is why I say that. But regardless, I think when you do it correctly, it works just, as it naturally should. And in the book, The Science of the Mind, that I read back in January, the scientist, the philosopher, and who wrote the book talks about the law of detachment as you kind of like not putting your attention to the outcome of this thing, knowing that it will happen. And so the law of detachment is more like if you're trying to manifest Jesus, if you're trying to manifest money, for example, the way that you would get the law of detachment to work in your favor is to be like, money's whatever. And that doesn't mean to treat money that way, because I think, well, I think treating money also, I think treating money that way, like meh, it's whatever, also does benefit you because you'll spend it like it doesn't matter. And in return, like the currency, the flow of money will naturally come back to you. And that's just how life works. And if you're in this cycle, like you're literally in this economy from the moment you're born. If you're an American, I don't know about any other country, but as soon as you're brought out into the world, boom, you're in the flow of money. So I also think it depends on your beliefs, because if you don't believe that to be true, then obviously it's not going to work for you, because this life backs up your beliefs. And one of the ways that you get yourself to use the law of detachment to your benefit is to believe that you're this not nonchalant about this subject, or this nonchalant about the thing that you wish to see, the thing that you're dying to see, because that thing that you're dying to see is a reason why it doesn't happen. Like, for example, I remember hanging out with a group of friends when I was in quotation marks college, and I just remember them talking about, like, I don't know why I don't have a girlfriend, I don't know why, I don't know what's wrong with me, I don't know why I don't know why I don't have a girlfriend. Like, basically that whole phrase. And I'm like, why do you care so much? Because I feel like it's kind of like relationships. Like, for example, let me take my cat into consideration, because this is a really good example of it. So my cat, if I'm giving her attention all day, she won't come to me on her own. And she won't want to come to me on her own. But if I ignore her, or not ignore her, but if I just don't care and I'm like, man, whatever, like, I'll pet you later, then she comes to me. And that's the energy with any situation, any circumstance. And it obviously doesn't have to be something rude like, oh, I'm going to ignore my cat because I want her to come to me. Because that also repels the energy. You have to learn to be like, for example, I love my cat, right? I love my cat, I care for my cat, and I'm not going to ignore her on purpose, right? But I'm also not going to prioritize putting all my time and effort and energy into chasing her down to find her, because the more I put all of my energy into this, the more she's going to run away. Like, for example, my cat's very scared. And if I just get up, like, ran full speed at her, used my full energy to go get her, she would run so fast. And the reason that she would run so fast is because I would scare her away, right? So you got to think of the things that you're trying to get as that same thing. You're trying to attract it to you, but you're not trying to, like, force it to you. And I think that that's what the law of detachment and the law of detachment is. It's learning that you don't have to chase after these things, but it's also not just blank face ignoring these things and hoping and wishing that these things are going to happen as long as you don't care about them. Because you need to care about them. And you need to care about them the right amount, which is going to depend on your circumstance. But you also don't want to care about it way, way too much to the point that you're scaring the physical energy away from you. And the best way that I can describe it was with that analogy of my cat. If I full freaking sprint towards my cat, she's going to get scared. Like, naturally, that would be my reaction. Like, if somebody came to give me a hug, but they're just so aggressive because they're so obsessed with trying to give all of their time, effort, and energy to me, it would probably, like, make me flinch. Just because I'm like, why are you coming full speed, you know? Or like if a dog ran at me full speed, I know that the dog is happy and I know that the dog means well. But I would be scared of the dog and I would probably flinch because I know that on impact, that shit's gonna hurt, you know? So you have to use those things to your advantage. And by advantage, I mean like use that to the best of your ability. You know what I mean? The law of detachment is not you not caring about this thing. It's you caring the right amount and knowing that it will support you. Knowing that this relationship between you and this thing that you're trying to get is equilibrium. And that attracts it quicker. And when you use all of the laws, all of the different laws of attraction to your advantage, then things come to you and they happen a lot faster. But the only way that they're able to do that is if I feel like most of the laws, right, like I'm going to use quotation marks, laws of the universe, they're not really laws. It's just ways to get you back in equilibrium, which is just ways for you to get back into alignment. And when you're in alignment, things happen for you naturally at their own pace. And because your personality is so different. Like, obviously, we have our general similarities, like the fact that I have a face and a nose and eyes, you know, like we have general common traits. But when it comes down to who we are as an individual, my thing to do, or like the things that I like to do, are not going to be the same as yours. My favorite song is not going to be the same as yours. And yeah, we can be generalized, and maybe I share my favorite song and it turns out that it's your favorite song too, which is why I say we have our similarities. But my favorite song, my favorite food, my favorite color might not be yours. And the way that I look is going to be different. You know what I mean? Like, I might have a nose, but it probably looks different. And so I be getting off track all the time and I like lose myself in thought. But anyways, getting back on track. Basically, your individuality is what separates you. So that's why I can't really speak on specific points, but the law of detachment is just you carrying the right amount and getting back into equilibrium, whatever that looks like for you. Like if you're somebody who stresses about everything, try not to stress because know that it's going to be okay. If you're somebody who gets pissed at things, try not to get pissed because that's bringing you out of balance with yourself. And it's going to be a different emotion depending on the person, right? Because you're an individual and you have that individuality. So use that to your advantage. And the law of detachment is a very, 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 very simple concept. Sorry. And all of the laws of the universe, quotation marks, laws of the universe, are very, very basic. It's just that as a human being with all these complex things going on around us, we complicate things. We overcomplicate things. The law of detachment is caring about things just the right amount, knowing that it's coming to you. That's why you're detached. You don't care because it's already yours. And so with that being said, I hope that this was helpful in any way, shape, and form. And as always, my babies, I love you and I appreciate you for being here. And like I said, if you're into science, psychology, spirituality, self-help, and philosophy, I think I said science already, philosophy, then I recommend subbing or following whatever platform you're finding me on. And that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.